Welcome back to Undying Winds. This is session number 13 entitled Dragon's Greed. Last session, I think the only portion that really matters is the end portion, so I'll just cover that bit. They were in an audience with Lasatu, one of the members of the council, and they basically told her that the Magier's tower is currently without a Magier. This caused her to have a bit of a decisive moment. She then turned into a very massive red dragon with a demon bound in its chest, and decided to leave them where they were, fly out of the place that they were in, and descend down upon the conglomerate tower, bringing it to wreck and ruin in a matter of minutes. They moved at the greatest pace that they could to get to the location, but by the time they were there, the conglomerate's tower had been pushed like a nail into the earth, and people of all types were rushing away from the conglomerate's tower in horror, and also many of them were wounded. An individual named Zelbor appeared to calm the crowd, and then moved out to the tower to investigate what was happening. The group followed him through the debris, the dust clouds, most of it being broken up bits of stone as the tower was smashed, and they watched as this individual named Zelbor descended down into the pit and closed some sort of rift with very powerful magic. Afterwards, during the aftermath, the group that were capable moved to assist and heal as many people as they could. And as the scene has basically been clearing out, less people who are just passerbys or agents who were lucky enough to escape from the conglomerate tower's destruction kind of part away. A few of the enforcers and agents stay, as well as a lot of the lemon caps, making sure that there are no stragglers in and about. And some of them have started to cross the bridges over to the wreckage of the tower to secure the remnants. It's gone dark, and as that's happening, the thing that you notice most as everyone's kind of calming down and the lights are kind of calming out, is that the city in this place feels very quiet, very still. Not a lot of people are talking. Most people you see kind of walking past you are either stern, stone-faced, serious, or still kind of looking like they're just panicked and in shock. That said, the city is yours. What would you like to do?
What do you guys think?
Well, on the bright side, I suppose the conglomerate is gone. On the downside, what the fuck?
Right.
Valette, we've got to like get some clotheslines for your mouth. I feel like not clothes clips, clotheslines to like.
You mean sewing my mouth shut?
Yes, with very strong pieces of rope.
I
It'd be
do
very
admit
painful.
that in hindsight, it was a bad idea to share information when we did not know much about them. I regret my decision.
So will you be more careful? Will you be more careful in the future?
I can only hope to learn from this and be wiser in the future.
Well, you have much to learn, apparently. You also know that we shouldn't be talking about the swords. Be
Real
careful with what we reveal about it.
Did I talk about the swords with the lady?
No, I'm just saying, just don't.
Okay.
But we're actively telling you now that in
Yes.
the future, those are one of those things you shouldn't bring up.
Understood. Unless one of you brings it up first, I shall not mention them.
This is
in
how
next
we
talk-
learn, robot brother. This is how we learn.
Now let's go
Right.
clean up that mess.
I mean, the city guard have got that right now. Where'd the short blue person go?
He's still kind of helping with the healing, kind of keeping to himself. He's present, and he will kind of follow you along if you do move out until Kevin logs in.
So Ren says there's like 3 things that he's thinking about. Is the mess with the conglomerate something we need to deal with right now, or can let that sit? Do we need to deal with the gangs and any chaos that's going to erupt from the power vacuum, or should we focus on the swords, on the king and the?
Well, I thought that the king might be taken by the conglomerate, so that thought for me is definitely, not going to lead anywhere. I feel like we should tell somebody, either the gangs or the vizier, what we know about the dragon lady.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But it's definitely like number 1 priority for me to find the king. The only lead I could have thought would be, the ties with the demons and the conglomerate.
Do you think? So, John, would Ren know after the chaos of the conglomerate and the dragon attack, it would be easier to find the gangs, easier to find Mardigan? Can we try?
I mean,
Can I leave some sort of note or drop or something that would try to get us?
not here, not at the tower ruins. But yeah, I mean, if you were to maneuver into Mardigan territory, it might be a bit more realistic in that regard.
Yeah, a bit easier to find him if we're in the area.
You'll note too that the lemon caps that have remained and the ones that are crossing the bridge and moving to the hill, the ruin site, it looks like a lot of them are bringing over a series of poles and cloth, which you would recognize are basically for makeshift stretchers, and they look like they're also pulling out a lot of. They've had a box delivered of a lot of burlap sacks, large, massive human-sized burlap sacks.
Right. Well, good to know. So here's another question. Valette, how long ago was it again that you sent that letter?
Would it be about 2 weeks, John?
Yeah, about 6 days.
I believe it's roughly 6 days ago.
Right. I'm trying to remember, in terms of the world map, John, how far away is, the
Thousands
head
of miles.
Meiju?
Several thousand miles, or 3,000 or 4,000 miles. Basically,
So
an
it's
entire
safe to
continent.
Yeah, it's safe to assume that if it did make it to him by now, it would have just made it to him by now.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
there's going really fast, it's not going to.
Sounds like a fair assumption.
Right. So the only question is necessarily, what means would they take to get here? I mean, Gilbert's family got here quite quickly. And I suppose, what sort of a priority are we on the head Magier's list, so to speak? The conglomerate might be gone, but is the conglomerate gone? So it's true the gangs might vie for power right now and thereby, fuck us all over. Just
So-
as a thought.
Just looking around, you would see that there are still some agents and enforcers about, but nowhere near the number that you presume were in that tower when it fell.
Right. Our Vrak puts a hand on his blade and looks at Sam. You want me to start finishing him off, brother?
No, that wasn't the point that I was getting at. No.
Then I'm not sure what you are getting at, because the conglomerate thing that was here, it ain't here.
Yes,
So
well,
there ain't conglomerate.
the conglomerate thing that's here isn't the only conglomerate thing that's in, like, the world. There's more of them out there, and they could send reinforcements here. And, again, if suddenly, because there's a power vacuum, everyone starts fighting with each other, well, then everyone's, fucked. Because if they're being distracted and suddenly an overwhelming force comes. I'm just saying, the whole idea with the, like, gangs trying to be together might actually be more useful now than it was previously.
But do you think you can make it happen? They all seem so green.
Oh, fuck no.
Sam, make an wisdom arcana check.
Ooh, wisdom arcana. Oh, this will be fun. Alright, this will say medicine, but it's supposed to be arcana.
Sure.
Yay!
Kevin.
Hey,
I
buddy.
finally got. I was having
Hey,
issues.
20! That's a 20 on there.
So, Sam, you start to have a think about it and kind of start looking up at the sky. And, the stars are out and everything, and it's a decent night. But you also start to kind of feel like there are eyes kind of watching the area. It feels like dozens of scrying points have been opened. It just feels like there's divination magic kind of strongly in and around the tower. You're pretty sure that the conglomerate as a whole is watching the area, watching
Right.
what happened.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know. It's just a thought. We should, like, go back to Gilbert's or something, I think. I mean, there's not much that we can do here if this has already happened. I think everything's in hand.
Mm-hmm. There he is. So is it possible to try to get to the area of Spellmoth where I can put a drop for Mardigan on the way back to Gilbert's?
Yeah. So you have two options in that. You can either move through Idealist territory, circumnavigating Night Shark's territory, into Mardigan's territory, and then south into Spellmoth, and then into Old Rostigar. Or you can just walk right through Night Shark territory, and then to the Mardigans, and then into...
Yeah, let's not. I'm gonna look at Sam and Ren and say maybe we should avoid Night Shark territory for the moment.
I'm fine with that.
Kevin, it looks like your friends are mobilizing, and you've just helped healing the last person who is still straggling about and was wounded, enough to a point where they can kind of meander off.
All right. So you guys want to head back?
Yeah.
Yep.
We were just talking about regrouping at your.
Yeah, I think that would be for the best right now.
Sounds good.
Just breathing into their mic.
Mm.
I'll fight them.
I blame it on Matt.
That's probably...
I mean,
Stop
that might have
existing.
been- I'm sorry, I was just opening up the windows of my house because it's actually cool outside.
Alright. Well, so you guys are heading back to House Kurgosler, and you said you were going what direction again?
So we're gonna avoid the Night Shark territory.
So you're going to move through Idealist territory, into Mardigan territory, around the lake there. I forgot the name of it offhand. I'll have to look it up later. And then down south into Old Rock.
Correct.
Yeah, gonna be a long walk, but
Through the
Better than
Gentleman's
getting
Society
jumped.
territory. Okay. Fair enough. If Ren and Sam want to do me a favor and make me a wisdom perception check while you are making your move.
Sure.
That's a
John,
9.
real
That's
quick,
21.
Go ahead, Tim.
Would it be reasonable to assume I probably used all of my lay on hands to heal people?
Your call.
I saved 10, but I'm gonna say
It's fine. As you guys are moving north through Idealist territory, you're kind of on higher ground hill-wise as it kind of descends down towards the coast. You start noticing something peculiar. There don't appear to be any local idealist marks or plants. There's no people standing out and about. There's just an absence of the gang entirely. Yeah. You're noticing this, Ren. Sam seems to be focused on getting to where they're going.
Am I noticing any? Yeah. Sorry about that, Matt. Am I noticing any signs of night sharks? In other words, have they pushed into Idealist territory even more?
It's nighttime. There should be gang activity on the street because there's all sorts of people out and about, but there doesn't appear to be any sharks or idealists.
Okay. Interesting.
I'm assuming Winston and Peter are still with us.
Yeah.
So Ren would certainly
Confused.
say that to the group, especially to Sam.
Okay. You guys start moving further on into idealist territory. Still no signs of anybody, and kind of from your high point, you can kind of see south. A bit of the Night Shark's territory, the southern portion of Spellmoth there. What you notice at the border area is looks like a lot of people kind of mustering about. Looks like a lot of activities kind of pushing towards that direction. And then you see it. Motes of orange energy start detonating on buildings. You start to see large flashes of light coming from between the large buildings that you can see from this vantage point. Looks like detonations of the spell Fireball.
Where is it coming from?
Night Shark territory, where Night Shark territory meets Idealist territory.
Oh boy.
Yeah, dude, shit's gonna get real.
So the question is, do we intervene or just let it happen?
We should make sure, and we should check to see if there's innocent people there. It's not just gangsters.
Yeah, well said, Brox.
Winston kind of
Which
looks.
side are you calling innocent?
Winston kind of looks at
Not
Sam.
affiliated
I
with the gang.
legitimately don't know.
Those who can't protect themselves.
Winston kind of looks at Sam, kind of confused, and Peter says, "Yeah, I'm sorry, boss." And you see him put the mask on and just start rushing away, like in that direction.
Yeah, no, I figured that was going to happen.
Winston kind of goes, "Okay,
Winston, make sure he doesn't do anything too stupid.
okay, I'll keep him safe." And rushes off as well, putting his mask on.
I just put Winston in charge. That's a great move, guys.
Andy put his mask on
Oh.
and ran down the street.
Yep.
Did you say goodbye?
I mean, that was my goodbye.
You're not following him?
I mean, they know how to take care of themselves.
Well, what you do know, Sam, is the advantage for idealists has always been in underground or secret areas where renegade mages have been free to do what they want. It looks like they're using that advantage in the open now.
Yeah, no, I'm not surprised necessarily. When you said the streets were empty, I figured they'd either gone to ground or gone to war.
It looks like they're taking a very quick and very decisive strike against the Night Sharks.
So the Night Sharks don't have use of magic in the same way?
Not as known for
We're
it.
gonna find out.
I'm assuming the idealist big thing is like they're mostly mages, where the Night Sharks might have some, but they have either they're more balanced or more toughs or what have you. So now that there's no conglomerate to punch down on them, magic is a flying.
And Sam, you're kind of crunching the numbers in your head probably, and the math is weighing out on the idealist side. Like, being able to break a person in half with your bare hands is one thing. Being able to summon a hand that can break a person in half while you're casting a lightning bolt down a street to murder 10 to 20 people is a different story altogether. And from the sounds of it, those fireballs are precision strikes. They keep going off, by the way, for some time. if you wait around.
So does
Happy.
Brox want to go as like a referee to this to make sure nobody gets hurt, or
I just, I don't want to ignore it. I want to go and help more people that it, like, isn't, are we just going to go hide out in Gilbert's house while people's businesses and houses are exploding? Like, is that the plan?
yeah, no, I'm with you. Okay, I'd go with them.
Yeah, that sounds reasonable.
It's not,
Zach, what, Zach?
it's not to hide out, it's
Yeah.
to make plans.
There's no way this could go poorly for us.
Okay. If you guys start rushing down that general direction, you start passing a lot of lemon caps. It looks like some of them are trying to form up a line, kind of protecting people from going in one general direction. They don't seem to be trying to stop anybody, but they are kind of directing people away from the conflict. And they kind of give you side looks as you move past them, moving towards the center. As you're approaching this Night Shark Idealist segment, you notice that the detonations and all the explosions have kind of stopped. You're kind of making your way to a point in the area, kind of closer south, kind of about right here-ish. If you saw that ping, and basically that small lake there is known as the Shark's Eye Lake. And it's one of the main kind of hub central points for the sharks. You know its power base is obviously closer to the coast in Red Dragon. No, not there, up here. No, too big a lake. Shark's Eye Lake is here.
Where Valletta is.
Yeah, if I'm not...
And you're a jet.
Yeah, stop it. You notice that there is a Shark's Eye Lake Square, which is kind of set inside of those buildings and area, and it's basically just a stone square with several statues of famous fishers. Several of them are kind of showing them holding up various bounty from the sea. But you also notice that this place is crowded. And it looks like it's filled, half of it is filled with individuals wearing white masks, kind of staring towards the center, kind of going, is this shit really going down? Is this going to happen for real? And then you can see on the opposite side of it, purple hoods, night shark garb. And in the center, it looks like there's kind of a group in the middle, kind of closely packed in. But the main thing that you're noticing that's present there is a beholder kind of floating in the center of the throng.
Yeah, I would just put on my black mask and start walking towards the center.
One of the idealists that you guys kind of try to push past goes, "Who the fuck are you? Get the fuck out of here. Gang business."
Who the fuck are
No,
you?
you're fine. You can go in. You can't bring in fucking outsiders. It's a square off. Get them the heck out of here. They can't see this shit.
It's a dance off. I know.
Right?
It's footloose.
They're gonna tie their hands together and they're gonna dance.
Yeah, well, they're here with me. They can stay out here at least.
Yeah, they can stay out here. If you want to get closer, you can go. You can definitely go, kind of points at your mask. But your friends can't pass. They can't move past this.
Can we see Hadrian?
No, there's just a lot of people in the center there. You're not sure if... the main thing that you're able to see is the floating massive thing with eyes kind of, ornately crowning its head. I mean, it's very obvious in the crowd. Hadrian's just a dude.
Yeah, I just sort of look at the group and say, "I'll be back," and walk towards the center.
All right. Sam, as you're kind of approaching, you do see that Hadrian is present, and he's holding his brother's head, and he's kind of standing off against your boss, and you can kind of hear your boss's gruff voice. Yeah, well, it's over now, and I didn't get any of the loot, so those people who promised me... Speaking of which, kind of turns his head and all of his eyes in your general direction. Sam, get the fuck over here! Kind of just starts waving one of his eye stalks for you to get over.
Yeah, I mean, I was planning going that direction anyway.
Hadrian kind of looks at you. It's twice you fucked me. I don't like making enemies. And I certainly don't like having to push back to take what's rightfully mine.
Wasn't rightfully yours, never was. It's been ours for hundreds of years. We want you out, and we want you dead permanently because of what you did.
Hadrian kind of shrugs. We can kill every single one of your people in horrific bloodshed and leave you bleeding out in your portion of Spellmoth, and you can have it forever, because that's where you'll lay to die. You can kind of see the eye stalks twitching as he's being threatened, like almost like he's going to act impulsively. And then Hadrian says, or we can settle this as they used to in the days of old, back when the marches were the rulers. You and me, one-on-one. Combat here, in a square off. Your call. You can kind of see the idealist kind of back up a bit. Hadrian kind of grins. What, are you afraid?
No, I'm not afraid of anything.
So you're accepting my challenge then?
Give me a moment. There are right to the challenged.
Kind of tucks back towards a couple of other mages that are present, and to you as well.
Alright, what do you got that can help me right now?
I mean, I just quickly explained basically that Ashmedea somehow got information about the Mage Ear and acted on her own.
Yeah, everybody
She's
saw
gone
the,
rogue.
Everybody saw the dragon. Nobody knew that.
Yeah.
I mean, why was she in the city? What do you mean she got information? What are you talking about?
Someone let slip that the Mage Ear was not in town at the moment.
How do you know about conversations with a demon prince?
Because of the fact that it was the idiots who I tend to hang around with who were negotiating when this information became apparent.
I thought you were in a pyramid. Was there a demon prince in that?
No, this was after we got out.
There was just a demon prince in the city of Rostigar.
Yeah, apparently that's who was leading the council.
Holy shit. I thought I was a big surprise. A demon prince. Well, the council needs to be dealt with then after we're done dealing with this, but looks to the other mages. What do you have that can help me right now? Spells, quickly.
My lord, I could cast Tensa's Transformation upon you, if you wish.
Yeah, fine, that'll work.
Casts the spell, touches the beholder. You see the beholder kind of swell with strength, and then you see the beholder kind of pull the sword out of his mouth again, kind of spin it about. You can see that it kind of trails with like a greenish arc.
Okay. Well, what about you?
Haste?
Yeah, give it to me, give it to me.
Cast another spell on him.
Alright, Sam. What about you?
Oh dear gosh, what do I have? Oh, you know what? What do I have? I've got no real good buffs except for seeing invisibility right now.
That doesn't really do a lot for me. Okay, well, alright. I think I can. You think I can handle him?
Of course.
Alright.
No one can stand up to you.
Give him a good bear.
Everybody starts to
I was really tempted to try to cast Dispel Magic, but I'm not sure if that would have been a great idea right now.
Everybody on this, the Night Shark side have already spread away from Hadrian, and he's just kind of standing there on his own. You see an individual kind of walk over to him with a very lush-looking pillow, and Hadrian slowly slips Nadre onto the pillow. The head is kind of taken away. Hadrian kind of spins about and kind of looks. Doesn't appear to be armed, doesn't appear to have any armor on him, just kind of stares off at the beholder, waiting patiently. This is well before spells are being cast on the beholder, and it doesn't seem like he's taken any kind of concern or care about the fact that spells are being cast on the beholder pregame.
Not good.
All right. You guys back away from the beholder, kind of opening up the square. Even for you people in the back, you can see that it appears that some sort of duel, some sort of standoff is going to happen.
What do you mean, you people?
You people.
The people
The
that did not
orcs.
happen to be idealists. Apologies. That is a bad term of phrase. Apologies. Anyways, you see the beholder kind of float towards a distance of about 15 or so feet away from Hadrian. And Hadrian says, "Rights of the challenged. It seems that you've already committed to a sword fight or battle of brute force. Is that your election?"
Yeah.
He says as he kind of still spins the sword. "Fair enough. Terms and conditions of the victory. What will they be?"
If you kill me, the idealists are night sharks. If I kill you, the night sharks are idealists. That's how it used to be, and that's how it always will be. And even on this night, it's the way it shall be as well.
Hadrian kind of shrugs. "I don't lose either way." "Fair enough. Whenever you're ready to commence," he says as he kind of just gestures a hand out to the beholder, kind of just gestures for him to approach. The beholder kind of raises its eye stalks, and its center eye is kind of focused in on Hadrian, which, if he had any kind of magic or enchantments, would be kind of debuffed. But you saw in the meeting before that Hadrian was able to kind of create his spell effects even while under the gaze of the idealist. The beholder's eye stalks fire in and kind of slam into Hadrian, and you see him kind of take the brunt of them and see the spell effects of the race start to manifest and then kind of quench off, like they're being shunted somehow. Hadrian kind of looks to him like with a just sadistic looking grin. The beholder kind of comes in closer with the sword and starts swinging at him, trying to hack him to bits. You watch as Hadrian raises his arm and blocks with bare skin, and it looks like the cuts are actually cutting in deep, blood kind of flying from Hadrian, but he seems to fight with his arm and hand, not concerned with the wounds or the blood. And everyone's watching him getting cut apart, and everyone on the idealist side is invigorated by this. Everyone on the Night Shark side is also pumped, but you're not sure why that's the case. Then you watch Hadrian kind of turn his attention, like change his passiveness to a more aggressive nature, and he just punches straight in past the cutting arm or the cutting tongue of the beholder, and kind of grabs like closer to the base of the tongue with his grasp, drags the beholder into the ground and slams it into the stone, and then brings his fist straight down. The beholder, quickened by the haste spell, kind of rolls aside and kind of moves to an elevation, and Hadrian's arm misses, slams into the stone, leaves a very large crater in it, and you watch as Hadrian's like forearm muscles and bone just shatter, blood just kind of flying everywhere as he breaks his own arm with the force of the fist. He kind of lifts his hand up and kind of just dangles there loosely, and he doesn't look like he's in any like sign of pain or concern or hurt. The beholder kind of rolls aside, moves about, kind of loosely gets its sword about and brings it back in for more cutting blades. By now, Hadrian's clothes are kind of torn and tattered about, and you can see bone underneath kind of poking out, but it doesn't seem to affect the creature within. And then the sword comes in for like a telling blow, kind of stabs into the neck and kind of just stops, not making it all the way through the neck. It's at that point Hadrian takes the remaining good arm and kind of brings it in, grabs the tongue again, and slams the beholder down face first. This time with a lot more force than the first blow, and you watch as the beholder's teeth just shatter out, all about on the stone. He then raises his hand up, slams it into the back of the beholder, causing it to dent in and kind of scoot across the stone, kind of bleeding out of its mouth. Gums remaining, dragging across the stone. Hadrian kind of takes his arm, which is still kind of bloodied from the hit, and kind of starts walking menacingly towards the beholder. The beholder spits and kind of turns, jagged portions of its already, gnashing maw kind of twisting about, its eye blinking in agony, and he just slams his fist right into the central eye. After a fashion, you see him pull his one good hand out of the beholder's face with bits of this pinkish gray matter and just toss it on the ground, slam his fist back in, and repeat until a large mass of this brain is thrown onto the ground. Everyone on the idealist side just watches in horror as he continues to meticulously pull the thing's brain out of its head.
Guess you're a night shark now, Matt.
I'm still just Sam.
Hadrian's body kind of goes limp, and he kind of starts walking over to the side. And then you see him kind of like look out at the idealists, and he kind of smirks, and then he kind of breathes out, like he looks like he's, now expressing a bit of humanity and showing a bit of tiredness, and the body just buckles and falls to the ground, lifeless. You then see the Penanggalan kind of look over at the person who is holding the pillow and kind of stare up at him, and he kind of tucks the head in his position and starts walking out towards the idealists. As he does so, you watch as the bone kind of breaks on the face and like the head. The hair starts to kind of grow out from this person's head, who doesn't even look anything like Hadrian, until he just mutates horrifically to look like Hadrian. And he walks out and he says, "You can remain who you are, fill a power vacuum. But know this, the territory that we had beforehand is ours. Do with your own group as you wish. For those of you who liked what you saw this evening and want to know what true power is, what true control means, cross the Glimmermere and come join us. But I will not break your territory. Make sure that whoever you choose as your leader tells that to Patrick Mardigan. I did not want to disrupt the balance." Looks over at the mass of meat on the stone. He did. And just starts walking away with his brother in his hand.
This is at the point where Sam takes out the piece of paper that he was writing on earlier, just holds it up and says, "Vote for Sam."
So, you would know that the only other two black mats that are present are two of the mages that survived the Cock and Thrush black market destruction by Razi's hand. One of them kind of looks at you and says, "Well, I don't know what your plans are, but I'm going to go figure out what that was about." This would be the one that cast Tensor's transformation. And you would presume the more powerful of the two.
Right.
Have fun fighting out whatever you need to do. Just starts kind of walking over towards the Night Sharks group. Takes his mask and kind of just chucks it to the side. Which, again, it's a pretty powerful magic item, but...
Yeah, I just sort of stare at the other one.
By what right do you claim leadership? What deed will you say that you have done that's brought greatness to our gang? You caused problems with the conglomerate and got...
I helped bring the conglomerate down.
Is that your stance?
Damn right. I'm not there, but yeah, you did.
Is that your stance?
Yeah. So you can go and fuck yourself.
I'm not going to openly serve you. I'm going to
That's
see
fine.
how many were willing to join me in this regard. You did nothing to help. False Matret. My brain did a fart. Hold on. Let me get the correct spell.
Pasmortre?
Pasmortre. I can't even say it right. I'm a horrible person. Pasmortre. I'm the only... I helped him try to defeat Hadrian. You did nothing.
I could have did.
He was going to lose regardless of help or not. It was written in the stars. If you didn't know that, then you're a fucking moron.
You hear others kind of listening in, kind of moving up. And you can
He
see...
was going to drag us down into the dirt.
You can see that Peter's kind of moved into the open area where you're at, and walks over to the black mask and picks it up. Pulls his white mask and throws it off to the side and puts the black mask on. I serve you, Sam. Kind of walks over and stands next to him. You see him brandishing a dagger, looking at the other mage. The mage kind of... nobody seems to be coming out and moving to make any kind of sign or cause besides Peter so far.
So, if you had wanted us to be driven into the dirt, then fine. You could have helped that. However, we have bigger fish to fry than the other gangs. The tower has fallen. Do you think that the conglomerate itself has fallen? Do you think that this petty squabble was going to get us anywhere? Or do you think maybe we should actually start shoring up our resources and get ready for the wall of fire and flame that is going to be coming from outside of this city to destroy us?
I won't lie to you. When Post Motre suggested that we fight the Night Sharks back, I was worried. The Night Sharks' tactics have been brutal up until this point. But in most cases, they have been intimidation more than outright destruction. So, I had fear that it would come to something like this. I'm just glad it didn't come to more destruction to us. You're not wrong. I will move back into the northern quarter of the Idealist territory and do my best to shore up, on your behalf, the gang as it stands. If you really wish to adhere to the actions that were just made, I would suggest just presuming that all of the Idealist territory in Old Rostagar is forfeit.
Fine. We prepare for the gathering storm.
Very well. I will see what mages I can muster to see what we can do to check out the site of the tower. Postmotret said that there was nothing left behind by the dragon. Is that so?
There was just a portal left, but someone came and took care of that.
Yeah, I heard rumors about that. Okay. We're taking up a new position in the center of our territory, by Lake Barnow, in the center of our territory. You know the location, right? And out of character, you know the location, but I haven't named the tavern yet.
That's fine.
That's where we'll be. Like I said, I'll shore up what I can. And again, on your behalf, if you ever feel that I'm not acting in the interests of the gang.
If I feel like you're not acting in the interest of the gang, you'll be lucky to stay alive.
Fair enough. Postmotrite did say one thing of in port before he died horribly. If the council is weakened by the, or is as strong as it is, as strong as you say it isn't as weak as we thought it was. We may need to change our eyes, or our gaze in that direction. If truly a demon prince rules them, then maybe we have more to fear from the council than the sharks.
It seems so. Might not be the only one around right now, though. There may be others. Keep your ears to the ground. Find out what you can. I have other business to attend to right now.
To be sure, we should act as we've always acted, in secret, and not out in the open despite the fact that the conglomerate's tower has fallen.
Yep.
Very good. He kind of turns and walks off. Peter goes, I did take a large presumption here, but I'm just gonna assume that I get a good position in your new yep. Kind of looks at you, pulls the mask off, looks at you with a smiling face.
Yeah. do me a favor and just keep an eye on him. Make sure that he actually does what he says he's going to do.
Yeah, you got it.
Winston's with you on this one, as usual.
Okay. We'll keep an eye on him. And I'm assuming you've got business to handle. You sounded like you had pressing matters. And I've seen some shit today, boss. Some fucked up shit. And I thought traveling with you was, or, hanging around your side would probably be safer than what I was dealing with, but I'd rather deal with 9 knife sharp blades than what we saw today. So.
Yeah, well, it's definitely informative. Also, make sure that someone takes care of what's left of that, and I just sort of point my head over towards what's left of poor Smotre.
You would note, too, before you kind of give up on that, he has 5 items of magical import on him.
Oh, no, I was planning on going over and getting some stuff off of him myself anyway, just because, I just want to make sure that...
It does look like he had a 6th, but it looks like when Hadrian was kind of done with him, he did kind of peel that off of him, and you're only just now realizing that's the fact. The sword is gone.
That's fine.
The sword he had wielded with his tongue is gone, but he has 2 eye stalk lenses, one on individual eye stalks. He has a set of bracers that are on another pair of eye stalks. It looks like he has a ring that's been kind of fastened onto an eye stalk. So bracers, ring, 2 eye stalk lenses, and excuse me again. And then he also has an amulet kind of hanging on one of the central eye stalks.
Cool. All right, and then I rejoin the group, and let's head to Gilbert's house.
Okay. You kind of witness Winston kind of walking over and picking up the body. As you're kind of walking, are you planning on still going through what's considered Night Shark territory, or?
For the time being, no. Probably best to.
I thought we had talked about trying to get around it.
Sure.
Yeah, that's what we were deciding to do, and I'm figuring right now with what just went down, probably not best for me to go waltzing right through there.
Well, you do see that the new Hadrian is kind of standing there, kind of watching your power struggle unfold. He hasn't really moved away.
Okay, actually, when I rejoin the group, I'm just going to walk over towards where Hadrian is with
the group.
With the group.
Okay. He kind of sees you coming. So
That's a good idea.
I just want to ask you
I owe
directly.
him stuff.
I just want to ask you directly up front and to your face. You fucked me twice, and you seem to have profited by it. I am one who does charge a bit of interest in that, and as much as being your pony show for you to gain this power, I feel like in a certain way you kind of owe me.
It's true, you usually have to pay to fuck instead of getting paid to fuck.
Thank you, Brack.
It's just my experience, brother.
Right. Lots and lots of it.
Well, for right now, I'm retreating from your territory. From your territory.
I didn't think
I
you
feel
would
like-
disagree.
I feel like more discussion should be had in future concerning
No,
what
right now.
might be coming.
Right now we discuss what's going to be coming. The Idealist territory and Old Rostigar's forfeit. Do you agree or disagree?
As I said, I'm retreating to my territory. I feel like that is significant of my agreement.
Well, it looks like, as a matter, you mean the territory that you held before our last bout, or the Idealists and the Night Sharks' last bout. Is that accurate?
Is that accurate, John? Just out of curiosity.
Yeah, basically the Night Shark territory is going to move up to just past the Tower Ruin, so you no longer have the portion of Spellmoth
Right.
that locks into that place, and then all the Idealist territory in Old Rostigar is gone. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Good.
for right now, that's the way that things are working.
Good. Second matter. I'd be willing to forego that pressure and leave the territories as they stand if you agree to one matter. I mentioned it very plainly in our last discussion some 6 days ago. One of the individual leaders of the gangs did not show up for your meeting to help you destroy the conglomerate, and as a matter of interest, it didn't take much help from the gangs to do what you intended. I understand there's probably going to be more to come. The conglomerates aren't one to take a punch to the face and retreat. But I have a more important matter. The Kengo. I still want Saza's head on a fucking plate.
So go get it. You seem to be awfully badass yourself. Are you scared of this Saza, or is it just a matter of you can't fight?
I'm going to kill him with my bare hands. That's not a problem. But you see, there's a matter of importance that relays after that fact. If I do what I want, other members of other gangs might be annoyed. And balance is important. However, balance has already been broken. And balance will continue to be broken if the Kengo are allowed to act as they have acted. I don't send spies into your gang. I never have and I never will. I don't think the idealists ever have sent spies into my gang. No one on your side can play it as stupidly as they'd have to be one of my brutes. That said, the Kengo did just that. There's honor among thieves, and they did not present it at first. They put Blackguard into my company with the intention of relaying my dealings to them. And then they put me in a position to trust you. They forced me to take you and trust that you would resolve a matter which they probably openly maneuvered to be outside of your ability. I do not doubt that they manipulated the situation so that you were incapable of completing a mission which would honor a contract I had with them. That said, I cannot simply walk up to them and demand what I've demanded of your former lord, former master, in the same way without the agreement of the other gangs. That said, do I have your acknowledgement? Do I have the backing of the idealists to allow me to deal with Saza as I please?
So
Yes.
long as we continue with our agreement about not spying each other and not invading each other's territory, I see no reason not to.
And the borders will remain as they are. We will encroach no further into our old territories. We will retain what we have taken in the last couple of days. The H remains ours. The territory in Old Rostigar beyond the H is yours.
What do you plan to do about the dragon
I don't give a shit about the dragon. It's not here anymore.
or the towers in your new territory?
Incorrect. If the borders remain as they stand now, and you are backing me in my defeat of Saza, you can keep the tower. I don't give a fuck. It's a hole in the ground. Even if they rebuild it, it will never return to its glory. If they send a mage here, it will be a position that they are sending someone they are not particularly fond of to run a matter that they definitely can't keep control over. No one can hold down the bear. Rostigar isn't a place for foolish laws. Laws need to be a matter of importance to the people who follow them. Which is why I follow Val's. Why did I say Patrick? Because Patrick's cool. Val Mardigan's rules. The balance is important. It's not just something that is said and is adhered to for no reason. With the exception of Saza. So, enjoy the territory you get to keep. And if you have any interest in having further discussions, I will try and keep either me or my brother at the Red Dragon in Tavern Lane. You know where to find me.
Of course.
If you speak to Val, make sure he knows your backing of my endeavors.
I will.
Good. He walks away from you guys and then starts heading off into the crowd of night sharks. A lot of people are kind of like butting up with him. Yeah, you got him, boss. Ooh, yeah. And like really energetic. He seems to be just kind of like, you know, the really like dorky guy at a college party. Everyone's like trying to get into the thing, just kind of walking there, you know, with his brother's head in his hand. Walking into the crowd, just like those kids at college parties. Walks to the throng, and they start moving away from Idealist's territory, even though this is technically theirs, but they start moving away from the scene.
Cool. Let's go back home. Unless other people have other ideas of things to do.
Well, we're gonna try to make a drop so that we can make contact with Marty.
Kind of moving in this position, you can kind of go through Night Shark territory and move to the Falling Garter, which is kind of Mardigan, home base, to what you recall. Probably best place to find a Mardigan if you're looking.
Yep. Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. When you arrive there, you kind of get a lot of looks. Mardigans are a lot harder to spot than other members of other gangs because they don't really have a look or a specific item or artifact that they kind of all wear. So you can tell that everybody here is definitely a surly lot, but you wouldn't be able to pick out the ones that are really gang members, the ones that are wannabes, if you tried, or unless you were Ren. You walk in, and you can see that there are a lot of people here. Familiar face for you, Ren, as you see Tybalt kind of moseying up with a couple more fellows.
Yeah, so I'd want to get Tybalt's attention.
He kind of looks over and he goes, oh. Kind of gestures for you to come over to his table. And then you can hear him saying, clear the fuck out. I gotta talk to this guy.
And I would want to bring Sam with me at the very least.
Okay. Anybody
The
else?
rest
don't
of
want
us-
your boy
rest of us-
Brack?
You could bring all of us, right? But I mean, I want Sam there because I think Sam needs to explain the idealist part of it. Is what
Well, Matt went away, so
Matt, you
I
there?
mean, I can still hear everything
I'm
you're
just,
saying.
I'm just hoping I can get away from that nonsense. Tybalt kind of
So we
looks.
can get. We'll
One of
we'll all
these
go
times.
over that.
Tybalt kind of looks over to you and says, "So you and your friends having fun? What are you doing in Mardigan lands, huh?"
Well, things are kind of up in the air with a hole in the ground that was the tower, and we have some things to discuss.
Yeah, I heard about that. We have some things to discuss.
Well, then Ren would look at Sam and say, "I think with Val."
Well, you kind of recall Tybalt not being like a person of like high interest. Tybalt's just a guy you know in the gang.
Yep.
That's why he said.
Well, he kind of goes, well, Val hasn't been seen for a while. Kind of been gone for the last couple of days. People are starting to get worried and are thinking that people might start trying to take over his position. And now with everything that's been going on, it's an even crazier situation. Because word on the street is night sharks are bounding out of their territory, trying to take over lots of other people, especially the idealists. What do you know about that? Looks to Sam.
Yeah. They'll be taking back some of their territory and nothing else for the time. They do have some other business to deal with the Kenku, Kengu.
Kengo.
Kango. I always think Kenku, the
Yeah.
race.
The birds.
Yeah, the Kango. But besides that, I sincerely doubt that they will be doing much else.
Is it even worth it to tell such things to this people? I mean, didn't we come to meet with Val? We don't have time to waste with this fella.
Yeah, that's
Ren
fine.
would put a hand on Joe's shoulder, on Brock's shoulder, and say, "Well, hold on a second, Tybalt. So who is in charge in Val's absence?"
Yeah, nobody's really vied for that position. It's just a lot of rumors, a lot of talk that people are going to start trying to give it a go here in the next couple of days, probably, if Val doesn't show up. Yeah, kind of looks.
So can you leave a message so that if he returns, he should reach out to me as soon as possible?
Yeah, sure. We got your drop.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually the one that was going to go and see you. You still want me to go meet with you at your house? I mean, it looks like you came
No,
out. Okay.
this is fine. And there's something else.
Yeah.
Can you tell us? So would he, out of character, John, would he be able to tell us any information about getting to the Kengo that we would not know ourselves?
Getting to the Kenko?
Well, getting to Zaza.
So, to get to...
Zaza.
I wouldn't know. He's probably somewhere in his territory.
I asked you that out of character. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
So basically what I'm asking you out of character is it worth asking Tybalt this, or do we already know it?
Basically, most gang bosses, as you've seen so far, haven't been open. There's no specific set location where they're at. The only exception to that rule, so far as you can see, was the council, and it's probably because they didn't give a shit who came a calling. So, yeah, you don't know.
Okay, so then maybe what he would ask Tybalt is, what do you hear about any activity about the Kengo?
I haven't heard anything for a while. As of late, they've been pretty quiet. They're just across the river there. Yeah, the Gentleman's Society's gone dark as well. Word on the street there is that, well, it's about the same time that the king went missing. A couple days ago. Maybe a day or so ago.
And when did Val go missing?
A little while before that. Or about the same time, I don't know.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. No problem. I would suggest if you want any information at all on any of the other gangs, I mean, Mardigans will have some, Gentleman's Society might have some as well, but the ones who really keep that information are the bookworms. But getting a meeting with their boss or anybody in their gang might be a bit more difficult than just going in and finding Zaza yourself. But I would suggest that.
Okay.
Cool.
I would go back and finish our drinks. It's
Okay.
been a shit day.
Would you tell us that? Like, I would like to talk to Ren when we're not with everybody else, like with whatever that guy's name is, Tybalt, right? I wanted to talk,
Right.
like, after he leaves, or when we're off on our own, I'd say. So, did Val and the King have any known, like, were they known to have meetings and discussions and do things together?
I've got a quick question. Does Sam see this? Like, the two of them talking?
I mean, Gilbert, are you trying to hide the fact, or?
What do you mean, what I'm saying?
Are you
Yeah.
talking openly to Ren?
No, I talk openly to the group, but not to anybody else.
Okay.
Just the people in the group.
So then, yeah, Sam, you'd hear.
Yeah, I say we discuss these matters back when we get to your house. It might be more secure.
Mm.
Alright, sounds good.
Yeah, so let's leave and go
So,
back.
head back.
Yep.
Okay.
Right, cool.
You head back. You arrive back home. Kind of maneuvering between territories to get to where you're going. You're still technically in Idealist territory when you arrive back home. Yeah, what do you do when you get there?
I would want to take everyone with me to the basement if they're willing to come. And then I'm going to start ritual. I'm going to start ritual casting something.
I can feel it call.
Just so that we might be able to have a little bit more privacy. in
Okay.
the basement.
I think
Yeah,
the gnome's
no,
gone.
It's
so
going
they're
on.
gonna Go stay
It's
with
going on.
Gnomes are
they're
still
gonna Stay
there.
with the kings. They're still there.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, there was that like more closed off room in the basement, right?
Yeah, the Adams' secret basement. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'd probably take us there and take 10 minutes to cast this, so again we don't have like prying eyes in this area.
Okay.
While he's
And then-
taking those 10 minutes, Follette, like, sits down, cross-legged, gets ready for the verbal assault that might happen.
After I'm done casting, the first thing that I would relay is the fact that the conglomerate was scrying on the tower and they know what happened.
So they're going to be coming.
Probably. That's why I wasn't quite as concerned with, anything that Hadrian and that fucking sack of balls was doing.
That's good.
There was more important things, so if Hadrian took care of that, we could at least focus on what was necessary.
So do we search for Saza, or do we, really focus on the king? It sounds like Val, the Gentleman Society, and the king all went missing at the same time. Either that's a coincidence and they went to ground, or they're somehow involved.
I sincerely doubt it's a coincidence. I think finding them might take time, and I think, honestly, if anything, they'll appear at some point. I mean, we
I
can.
fear that the city's going to start slowly slipping into chaos with the series of events that we've caused. And
Yeah.
I really think it's of utmost importance that we find the king and try to help restore some kind of.
Yep, I
I
agree.
believe if we wait
I think
for
Brock
them to
says
show
it.
them... I fear if we wait for them to appear themselves, though, it'd be for the worst, and that they would no longer be themselves.
And it doesn't help. We have no idea where to start.
Kind of interrupting what you guys are talking about, you can hear in the other portion of the basement, behind the on the opposite side of the kegs that you kind of push to block yourselves in, you can hear a loud gnome voice that sounds like Kale.
What do you mean he's gone? Where is he? Where's that boy? He's got a letter, a very important letter from the nobility, from the royal family. Well, if you see him, send him up to me. I'm in my bedroom. I mean, his bedroom, and I'll give him the letter when he gets there. Okay.
Rushes on and about.
Gilbert, do you want to
Nice.
take care of that just in case?
Yeah, I mean, maybe we'll wait till we're done, though, so he doesn't know we're actually in here and overheard him.
I'm just saying, he said it's from the royal family.
Contents of that letter could change this conversation pretty significantly,
Fine.
little blue brother.
Let's open up. Hey, Brack, push this beer keg out of the way.
Lifts, consumes
Sorry, push it.
entire keg, puts back down.
It's empty. It's been empty for a while.
So I'll go out there then and chase after Kel and try to find out what he was talking about.
Huh? Oh, hey, where you been? Here, this is for you. I haven't opened it.
All right, thank you. What,
Yeah, no
anything else
problem.
going on that I should know about?
Oh, nope, that's it. It's from the royal family. You can tell by the seal. And so it must be really important.
Yes, I mean,
Yes.
usually they send water buffalo. A seal, that's rare.
Nice.
Everybody wants
so
one.
I guess what I would do is I would open it with Kel standing there and then just read it to myself, see what it
Okay.
said.
Yeah, it seems to be very formal letter. If I had taken the time, I would have sent one to you. But very formal in that same regard. And basically, it's a proclamation that the wedding of the prince and the Madramic princess is canceled until further notice,
What?
and that the prince would like an audience with all vassals and lords capable of receiving this message within the 6th day, individually or all together, upon the lord's own capabilities. All are welcome to the current audience chamber of the prince, the throne room of Alderach.
Okay, I would actually mention to Kev what that was about.
Oh.
And then I would say you should probably prepare the family. You know, we don't know what this is going to mean.
Well, Rasakin's offer still stands. We're still readying everything in that regard, and we'll be heading out in probably a few days.
Okay. Yeah, let's just go on with that plan unless we hear otherwise. That's a good idea.
Okay.
And then I would go in and see everybody and be like, "Okay, guys." I'd basically repeat what was in the letter and see if you guys have any questions or anything.
No word
It seems very
Rassicant or the whereabouts of the king.
Does the letter come with a +5?
A +5. No, I don't think he would care if I brought you from the way the letter sounded, but I'm more concerned about, is he doing this because he thinks his father is permanently missing, or does he know something we don't know, or he canceled the wedding. I mean, that's not cool. These are big parties.
Right, because our big parties
You
was
know.
like our main concern.
Well, it's very important to gnome culture, so don't say there's anything wrong with my culture. We just like to have lots of parties. Weddings are big and they're important. Family is important.
What is the prince like?
What is he?
You met him.
What? We met the prince?
Yeah, he came with
we met
the
him.
king to the breakfast club.
So, people refresh my memory. How, different, what was his sort of general mood, or kind of how he presented himself?
I don't remember
He
meeting.
wasn't as cool as his dad.
He wasn't as cool as his dad. That's all you need.
But I have lived in Rastigar for a while. What would I know of the people's opinion of the prince? Anything?
Not much. He's only about 15 or 16 years old. He's kind of coming into his
Yeah.
age. And he's
I don't remember meeting him.
he's kind of lost in a very deep shadow. Good King Amfred is kind of a legend.
I do think it would be good to meet with the prince and gauge how he's been affected by these things and what's going through his mind.
Yes, it would be interesting to know. And so we'll have to do that in a 6th day, I guess. Maybe we can find the king before that. I think I would at least like to attempt, and so that it looks like I'm looking for the king. Even if we look and don't find him, because I already promised I would find him, so I have to do something. I know it's hard to figure out where to look. Maybe we should go up and talk to the bookworms. That was a hint, I think. Right, Ren? Go talk
Yeah,
to the bookworms. Maybe
although-
they know something.
Yeah, although they said that it might just be easier to go into the Kingo territory.
Yeah, I don't even want to look for the Sawzaw guy. I want to look for the king. Although they might be related. I have no way of knowing.
Yeah, well, we're still in the magic circle area, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, I feel like no matter what we do, things are, kind of fucked. I mean, even if we do find the king, will the king be able to necessarily control what goes on with the gangs? I mean, who honestly is really in power here? The king might be just a lovely figurehead, while the gangs actually run things.
But you said this king had one of them magic weapon thingies that we all got, right?
Yeah.
That seems like way more important thing to this brother than all that other crap.
You kind of feel like a feeling of head nod, like from the sword. Frack. Like, right.
Yeah. Who cares if he's gonna solve our fucking gang problem? He's got one of them sword thingies.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, Anyway.
Your thoughts are
I think the king has a lot of power in the city still. Even though the gangs have a lot of power, but he has control of the military. He has all the noble houses, which some of them are involved in gangs. I know this from experience. And so I think like if he is missing and the power cedes to his son, that could be a big weakening of the actual king's normal influence, and then the gangs would get a lot more power. So they could be involved in this hiding, kidnapping of him or whatever's going on.
And you said he might be in that Kango territory, right?
I don't know. I don't think we have any proof that says that. Did we hear anything about that, Ren? About him being actually in Kango territory?
Who, the king?
The king.
No, I haven't heard anything about that.
No, so
We heard anything
real
like
quick
that.
clarification. Just want to make sure some things are clarified because I think you guys are crossing streams in a weird regard.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure it's clear. Ren wanted to seek out Saza for I don't know what reason. Hadrian's not asking you to find Saza, Sam. He's asking you to just make it okay so
He's
he
asking
can
me to make
kill
sure-
Saza.
Right, he's basically just
okay,
wants
I
to make
got
sure
it.
that we're not going to interfere with him.
And
when
I
he
thought
makes a
we
move.
were supposed to bring him.
When a
No,
vote,
he said he wanted to kill him himself. He just wanted to make sure the idealists were going to back him and not going to interfere with his plans.
correct.
Okay.
The king is missing and was last seen in the Capitol building in Alderac. But hasn't been seen for about the same amount of time you presume the Demon Prince that you unleashed. God, it's just like a common occurrence with you nerds. But the one that he unleashed from the pyramid.
Okay.
The second Demon Prince we released.
So
I assume we're releasing all of them.
yeah, by accident.
This session? Let's go for it, yeah.
Ren
We're
would
on a
turn.
roll.
Why not?
Ren would turn to Brox and say, "The bookworms is where the Talna Marie Academy is. Do you have any information there that might help in terms of doing some research about what's going on with it?"
Yeah, the library there is great. I could definitely probably find something out about what specifically the Demon Prince is. Or
Do you have any contacts with the bookworm gang itself?
no, the town of Marie doesn't deal with gangs directly.
Well, maybe while we're there, we could figure that out while you do some research. That's one option.
They might, it's an option I haven't tapped. They might have some information that could be useful to us.
Might be worthwhile.
I
Well-
think it's a good idea.
In game, not in real life. It's getting late, folks. So what's the plan of attack the rest of the evening? Hide out here in the basement. If you have anything else you want to discuss, I don't want to force you at all, but just saying.
Well, we want to do something. We're trying to find a way to get
I'm
to
trying
do
to-
something.
Yeah, I'm trying to get you to the part where you're saying I have a plan for tomorrow, and this is the plan.
Let's. How about this, guys? How about we do what Broxgar suggested and see if we can find some information, right? So you want to go up to the Tal Marie?
Yeah. I mean, it's a two-part thing. I mean, I can speak to my contacts there and see if they have any information that could help us, and then I could also do some research in their library because they have a pretty vast library.
That's not a bad idea. So maybe we should do that. I'd hate to split up at this moment with all the crazy shit going down.
I think we should
No.
stay together.
Yeah, I mean, otherwise, the other thought I had was maybe we go to the capital. But the thing is, that guy who asked us for search for the king, whose name
Rassican.
is
Raskin, yeah.
Raskin. He would have checked the capital, so all that area has probably been checked already. So it would probably, I'm thinking it might be better to go somewhere else and look for information. That's why I'm thinking Broxgar has a good plan. What do you think, Ren? You're an investigator and all that stuff.
Well, I suggested the plan, so I think it's a good plan.
There you go.
So what you're saying is you're biased.
Right.
Yes, if you suggested it and you think it's a good plan, there you go. It's a good plan. All right. What is that? Does everybody think that's a good idea?
Sounds like
That's
a circular
three
argument.
of us. We got 3 remaining.
Anything else, Tim, Zach, Sam?
I mean, out of character, I'm on board. In character, it's a plan with nothing for Vrak to do, so he just doesn't know what to say. Like, what do you want me? You didn't tell me to punch anything.
We need protection.
Can't punch a fucking library book. It's a fucking library.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with information. It's just, I'm still wondering necessarily how soon the conglomerate will be moving in.
We also do need to worry about how the Kengo will lash out at us, since they seem to have a grudge. So staying together is probably for the best.
I'm sure at some point they'll try something, but...
Who was it that shot up Ren's car? Was that the Kingo? I can't remember that long
That was
ago.
the Horse Lord boys, right?
No.
It was the Kingo, wasn't it? No, he's not gonna tell us. I'd have to look up on my notes. I probably would. It would take me a while.
Yeah, I'll give
that was Bike. Was that Biken?
Biken doesn't use guns. If you can remember his first name, I'll give you inspiration.
We all have it already, but okay, hold on.
First name?
If you can remember the name.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute, guys.
I'm terrible with names, and
Alright, these are a lot of notes ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a lot of notes. It's gonna take me forever. Forget it.
Hugo
I can't remember his name. That's the
Remick.
problem with my notes. I write a lot of notes, but then I can't find anything when I need to. I mean, that's not totally true. I can find the names of all the bad
It's in a
guys.
handout. You should be able to find it in a
Hold on.
handout.
Yeah, no. I'm looking at that. Was it Hugo Dermont?
No. Hugo Dermont was dead in a bed.
Lorenzo?
Correct.
Yes.
I knew it was
Nice.
one of those two.
That pepper box
Good job.
blew the shit out of you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He fucked your
We need
shit
to
up.
get that car. We
Joe's
could
like,
renovate that car.
Joe's like, I want
The
that
car!
gun, bro. I want
Yeah.
that gun.
We got no
bro.
one to drive it anymore.
I
That
remember
character
the room.
died.
No, I
Didn't
got
remember the
license.
name.
Both of the characters who could drive died because Sarah could drive and
Yen Lauren.
could drive.
I actually have operate land vehicles, but I'm short.
So go get a license and you
there's
can be
no-
the next PC to die. It'll
Yeah.
be great.
We don't have a
Perfect.
car anymore now.
That's how this works, right?
We'll get one. You get the license,
Get a
we'll
car
get the
now.
car, you die. It works out great.
I'm on
There
board.
you go. There you go. That's how that works. Alright, so I think we have a plan at least. Although, even though, well, maybe not. Tim and they don't. Like, what do you think, Tim? You gonna go along to this with us?
Villette agrees with sticking together. Villette will make sure not to say too many things.
It's not that you say too many things; it's that you say the wrong thing too many times. It could just have easily been somebody else, but well, somebody's got it. So I think that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna decide to go. We're gonna go with Brock,
Okay.
and
Now,
we're going to
the
rest tonight.
the letter basically says if you're able to receive audience with the prince, you can do so within the next 6 days. So you can go at any point during that time, Lord
Oh.
Corvusler.
Oh, well then, fuck this.
Yeah,
Why
do
are
you
we
wanna
not
visit the
going
prince
with
first and
Prince
then-
now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
See, I
true.
Yeah,
misunderstood.
Brock
I thought it had
now
to be
wants to go
6 days.
speak to the
Yeah, I
prince.
thought we all
thought it
misunderstood
was-
that.
Yeah, apologies.
Yeah.
So let me reiterate: it's those who can hear this message who can come within the next 6 days. It's not a be here at this date. It's a if you can arrive in the next week,
Gotcha.
come check it out.
That
Yeah.
might be good. Let's go there first, and we'll go early and possibly go up to the Talmari too, if we feel like it. But otherwise, we'll just head back. I don't know.
He's butchered that name 3 times in 3
It's
different
all
ways.
good.
Yeah. Well, you know.
Who gave that man
Doesn't
alcohol?
I like it. It's my favorite kind of Kevin.
He's making-
Slightly drunk Kevin.
He's making up for the time he
Like,
didn't
that's
get a
the way
picture.
You guys, actually, speaking of drunk, I'll talk about this later. It was like Mug Club week on Monday of this week, and I drank so much. It was crazy.
We
It
should
was
have-
not good. It was not a good...
We should have a mug club Friday. Bring in mugs. I got one back there.
Oh.
I could use.
I mean, I have a mug. See.
I made a mug with all of the symbols of the Dwerazin for my campaign setting. Right. I'll bring it up at some point. I'm just too lazy to go grab it right now. But I took it
That's
to
an
Gen.
excellent idea, John.
I took it to Gen Con,
Also,
and I was like, I've never put a beer in this, so let's see what happens. I pour 1 beer in, it doesn't even get a third of the way. 2 beers, it gets about a little more than halfway. 3 beers, it's
Holy
about as
shit.
far up as I wanted to go. I drank the whole thing.
Nice.
also, John.
That's a lot of beer.
Pretty quick, like I drank it quickly. Go ahead.
Before I leave the circle, like, does my communication device work in here?
The communication device, like the actual like physical like technological device, yeah, it does.
Yeah. In that case, if everyone, like, when everyone else leaves, I'm going to linger in the circle for a bit. I'm going to just contact Peter or Winston and basically just try to find out if we have any, like, really good divination wizards who might be able to, if not spy on the conglomerate themselves, be able to at least spy on, like, the area around where the conglomerate is in case there's any sort of activity that's, like, blatantly obvious.
The
Like,
he says
I don't want to spy on them directly. I just was,
Our-
you know, like,
best divination wizard joined Hadrian.
of course he fucking did.
If you want to talk to him, his name is Millard, and he might still be willing to assist.
Is he a duck wizard?
That's just Ducky.
My lord.
Okay. Good to know.
The presumption is he's trying to get on Hadrian's good graces, so you should be able to
Oh,
find
yeah,
him
no,
pretty quick.
Yeah, I figured that. We'll keep that in mind.
Okay. All right. Anybody have anything else they want to do in the rest of the evening, or are you guys going bed down and wake up the next morning?
I got nothing.
I think that's fine. That's a good plan. Just to go to sleep and
Okay.
get that.
Am I getting shit
Should I try
faced
to
and
catch
sleeping on the
divination?
table again?
Yeah, if that's the case.
Yep.
Regardless, Brock, in the middle of your sleep, you start to have haunting kind of flashback memories of scenes that you didn't really see, things that you kind of remember in pieces. Haunting past memories that are kind of coming up, and you're kind of having a bit of a poor sleep of it. You kind of wake up in a cold sweat, and you can see that sitting in the room with you, not too far away, is the drow elf that was drinking with you the other day. She kind of looks at you and goes, huh, having bad dreams.
Oh, you don't know the half of it.
Oh, I think I know a bit more than you probably do.
They say you dark elves got you do the dream things. Yeah.
Correct. Makema, our goddess, the Dreamweaver, she gave us the ability to enter the dream realm, similar to how elves enter the Feywild. She walks over to you and kind of, if you allow her, kind of raises her hand to touch your head.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't feel like you are dreaming your own dreams here, Brock. I feel like someone is trying to enter your dreams for some reason. I assume.
Can you tell me who's in my head?
Unfortunately, no, I couldn't tell you that. But it feels like someone is interested in you. Or in someone close to you. They're trying to get as much information about you as they can. Do you have any enemies? Any powerful mages? Or priests?
Probably.
Well, hopefully your drink won't be too troubled. She kind of walks back over to where she was standing, and next to her was like a counter. She grabs a tankard, kind of walks it over to you, sets it. It's about half full with kind of probably a bit stale, kind of definitely flat beer. And she reaches into her pouch, pulls out a white vial, and drops 2 drops into it, and slips it back into her thing. If you take that draught, it might help you with your problems. It may not block entirely whoever is trying to enter your dreams, but it may give you a fighting chance in doing it with your own mind.
Brack smiles at her and puts like a hand on her shoulder and looks her like close to the eye.
I knew you were a good one when I met you. Appreciate it.
Thanks. And she hands you the vial. 2 drops.
Oh.
Every night. If you have troubles and you haven't taken the drops, take them after. If you have bad dreams, Rock, wake from them. Because if you don't, you may not be able to.
The warning is greatly appreciated.
She wanders off.
I'm gonna sit on that for a minute, but yeah, definitely keeping that vial close.
Okay.
Fuck that noise.
If you go back to sleep, I need you to make a wisdom saving throw. Actually, apologies, charisma saving throw, and I want you to do so with advantage if you drink the draught.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. Huh. Fucking 13.
Okay. Your dreams go back to their haunted state. You feel kind of just maliciously kind of forced to relive some bad past moments. But as you're kind of watching them and feeling the same horrors you felt from, those times that I will not discuss, it's your liberty to discuss them, but as you're basically reliving those moments, you also feel like someone's kind of sitting with you and watching them happen with you. But you can't tell who it is. It just feels like a shadowy presence. And when you do finally kind of get a quote-unquote look at the individual, it's a silhouette. It seems to have bat-like wings kind of floating behind it, kind of vastly behind it. Bat-like wings. I want to make sure I emphasize that it's not angel wings. And the eyes are kind of glowing red.
Okay.
Okay. Anybody else have anything? You guys wake up.
We can't hear you.
Sorry, it didn't. I was trying to hand talk. You guys wake up.
So, did anyone have any bad dreams? No, I'm kidding.
I see what you did there. I'm actually almost caught up with Critical Role. It's a good bit. Sam,
Yeah, I'm almost caught up again too.
I had bad dreams. Did anybody else have bad dreams? Good plan.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure Vrock is visibly shaken, but he's not going to be like, I need to talk about my feelings.
Feelings. Nothing more than feelings.
Brock, one thing that does kind of happen towards the end of the dream cycle, and I forgot to mention it, apologies, but that same kind of symbol that you saw on the forge before it was used to help Valette kind of appears in your mind. Just a flash of it, but you recall seeing that same symbol, kind of like a bird.
Sorry, who saw that same symbol as a bird?
I did.
It's kind of like a
dream.
arcane looking, arcane mark, but it looks like it's
Okay.
bird shaped.
And I don't recognize it.
You do recognize it being the same mark that was on the Soul Forge before Judgment slammed into it and caused it to disappear.
Fuck me. Okay, yeah, I got it. And everyone's up and now in the dining room with me.
Yeah.
Then
The same matronly gnomes are kind of pushing you aside, feeding you your own, and kind of setting out the food for the others. Lines of gnomes are kind of coming through, gathering their food. Valette probably enters in shortly thereafter, and Sam, I presume, joins in, get breakfast.
Yeah.
Lord Kurgosler, it looks like Kale states to you that he is intent on him and a small company of his going out to act as vanguard to the Rassicant location and kind of set up and prepare for the arrival of the rest.
when Brox comes in, I want to try and pull him outside and try and talk to him alone, if that's possible. If he catches my social cue. Joe.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm typing in the Twitch chat. What's happening?
Just like when you wake up and come in the kitchen, Brack's gonna try and like pull you into another room or like outside where he can talk to you alone.
Alright, I'll follow you. What's happening, Brack?
Little dwarf brother, you remember that birdie looking thingy we saw on the forge? That's that like little logo symbol thingy.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember what you're talking about.
It saw it in my dream. It's like it's been invading my dreams. Understand that soul forge? It's like it's in my head, man. It's in my head, brother. It's in my head. I think, or someone that was in the soul forge is now in my head, or maybe it's in my dreams. In my head, only in my dreams. Maybe it's in my head now. I don't know, brother, but I'm seeing things and I don't like it.
I know what you mean, Brack. I fear that the lot of us are in over our heads. With each one of us, it seems that we're directly tied to some sort of demonic influence, and that might be the thing that you keep seeing in your dreams. Maybe the demon trying to get to you.
You think when you're up looking in them books of yours, you could do some research? Forge, was there? You think there might have been something in there that's now in me? What if it's a new thing? It's like, okay, so I saw the little birdie thing, but there's also like a silhouette man thing with like the not like birds, but like leather wings on his. It was a whole thing that was. I think if you could look into that too, brother, appreciate it.
It sounds like the figure you may be describing is a member of the Shedem, one of the 13 demon princes, but I will definitely look into it to be bat-like wings, maybe.
Bat-like wings, glowing red eyes. Came from the Soul Forge, I think. I keep seeing that fucking logo, man. Keep seeing that fucking bird. The shit.
Branding, stay on point. So real quick, Joe, Broxcar, you're going to the academy. Who's going with you?
I think everyone.
Well,
I thought we had decided
Red
to.
was.
I'll be right back.
Sam never agreed to. I don't
Yeah,
think.
no, I thought we said that we were going to go and visit the prince today.
So we had a misunderstanding.
Oh,
We
that's
thought, right? We thought that the invitation was in a 6-day, not
Right.
any time within it. And so when we found that
Right.
out, we said, let's go
Right.
there right away.
Go
Okay.
Let's go
Are
to
you
Prince
all
first,
going?
and then after that.
Or
Well,
I think it'd be all right as long as you guys, yeah, you'll be fine.
Well-
I don't care what happens.
Was it directly to? It was directly to. What did the letter say
Lords,
exactly again?
nobility specifically.
Yeah, so I think that's
Yeah.
just you. I don't think it's all of us.
I mean,
Like,
go. I could talk to him, and then we could leave together. That way, we're not separated. I mean,
Yeah,
I
that'd
don't
be
know
a
how
great-
long it'll be.
Expenditure of time for them to just travel with you.
Right, that's the thing. Like, would it make more
Yeah.
sense for you to go there and for like maybe you go there and I don't know, like one of I'm trying to think who would make sense. And like Valette goes with you as a bodyguard,
So
and then the rest of us go to the library. Or
As long as Valette doesn't say anything.
no. Like I was thinking that too. It makes the most sense for Valette because Rock. Has a
Oh,
really
we
big
split in
bond
the
with
party?
Rock.
Is that what's what happened?
No, yeah.
Uh,
yeah,
Did I
but-
walk
John's
away and y'all
trying to get
decided
us
to split the party
party.
without my input? That's
party.
fucking
Yep.
cool.
And the two healers
Hell
are going
yeah.
together.
Not my
I
fault
think that's
this
such a
time.
bad idea.
Wait, where am I? I'm going to see the prince, right? Because Rack wants to see the prince.
Oh,
That's
Brack
what
can be the bodyguard that goes with the prince. That
Alright.
or
If
with the-
there is like some sort of debate here, I'm interested in seeing the prince. Like even
Why don't
more
we
so
just
than
all
talking
go?
to the
Okay, fine, we can
town.
all go.
Business not to go.
That's fine. We can all go. I just
Okay.
wasn't sure. Like if we, yeah.
So
You guys head
so-
on. Go ahead.
So, I think John kind of was kind of making a joke about it, but the issue with us all going is there's a chance only Gilbert will be allowed entry, or at most maybe one other,
We'll see how it goes.
and then we're
maybe-
just sitting around doing nothing.
yeah, it's a
Yeah,
possibility.
So,
That might
but
happen.
we're also safer from the Kengo.
Okay.
I mean, you guys sat around and did nothing while I was talking shit to the beholder. So
You
Actually-
head to Alderac, to the Capitol building, to the castle of House Rostigar. You arrive at its gates. You're allowed into its court chambers, and Lord Kurgosler deftly moves through the area, knowing precisely where he needs to go with you in tow. He also moves a lot faster than I think almost everybody except for maybe the Barbarian, and is kind of keeping pace ahead of you all. Every so often you kind of run into a crowd of people letting out of court, and he deftly kind of through it, and kind of looks back over his shoulder like waiting for everybody, kind of annoyedly, looking back at you all, and continues on to where he's going. Eventually you make it to two massive stone doors that are kind of engraved with old markings, and then it appears newer markings of bears that seem to be kind of etched over what appears to be like old landscapes. Like someone intensely kind of carved these bear symbols into an older kind of landscape design on the doors. There are two guards standing outside, and one of them appears to be familiar to you. A woman standing there in the garb of the lemon caps. She appears to be one of the royal guards. If you remember her name, again, more chance of inspiration.
Yeah, hold on. I could do it. I have it somewhere.
Oh man, you can remember everything. I don't see your picture. Did she pop up?
I didn't put her up.
oh, also, did I get inspiration for remembering Lorenzo's name?
Yeah.
Cool. Guys, I got inspiration for remembering something. This is the first time this happened in like either campaign.
I just
That's
it shows me that you're paying attention.
Uh,
I reward
What is it that you gave me?
inspiration.
I have it.
All right. Well, since it's taking a decade, Matilda steps forward and kind of looks to Ren, and then looks to Lord Kurgosler. The invitation specifically stated, "Lords, my lord, you brought some of your other individuals here." You hear a voice kind of come from the side. "Hold!" Kind of walks over. You see Roskant approach. "Lord Blaze Hatchet, welcome to the capital. I believe you'll find that this individual here is also a member of nobility." Matilda says, "Sworn to House Rostigar?" Looks to Bronx.
Lord Blaze Hatchet.
Rastikin kind of looks to you. "You understand what you're saying by this. You understand that you're swearing your entire clan to this kingdom if you say it that. I do not intend to cause that to be the case. I was just hoping that She would allow it by right. She looks
I mean,
to
I
you.
thought that you said that you were taking care of all the paper. I don't really care if you call me a lord or not.
Matilda says, if you swear you and your clan to House Rostikar, I will allow you access to the prince.
Unfortunately, I can't speak for the entirety of my clan, but
Then
from what I know of the king,
unfortunately-
I can swear my.
Then unfortunately, I cannot allow you to enter this place. Lord
Well, then
Kurgos,
fuck you, bitch.
Lord Kurgos,
I'd be happy to put my entire clan at the.
who is this peasant? She says to Rossicant. I do not know you. He looks over to Brock. Who are you?
Name's
new.
Brock.
Of what house?
Do I
House
does,
Brock.
does my clan did
No.
my clan get a last name?
They
I don't
didn't
know if
really
we ever
do.
gave my
House
clan a
of
last
Suplex.
name.
They didn't really do houses.
How would I answer that question?
Confused, probably.
House Longtooth.
I don't
Yes.
I don't have a house. I generally travel a lot, so it's hard to put down roots, you know what I mean?
Lord Kurgosler, this is an embarrassment of your name and title. I suggest you coordinate with your individuals before you approach me again. She says as she takes a step back and looks at Ren.
Oh, I was like, young lady, you do not need to school me on what's appropriate or not appropriate. They're waiting out here for me. They're my friends, and if you do not want to allow them in, that's fine. I thought maybe you would allow Lord Blaze Hatchet in. He is a lord. If he does not swear
By the
allegiance
prince's
to the
decree, he is not a sworn lord. He is not allowed access.
Okay. Then,
Oh, my mistake. I meant I do swear fealty for me and all my. We're good.
Rassikin kind of looks to you. Are you certain?
oh man.
Yep.
Rassikin kind of nods his head, and Matilda kind of looks
This
to
will
Rassikin for
not go
guidance.
bad for you later.
Rassikin kind of goes, yeah. And she says, King Blaze Hatchet and Lord Kurgosler, please, with me. She steps towards the door. The other gentleman who is kind of standing there with her, who you also recognize from the other day.
I've got a question. How discreetly can I place like a small weasel on one of the two that's going in?
Very small.
Can
Do you want to try?
is it possible for me to try and grab Brock's real quick before they walk in?
Yeah.
I'm legitimately asking about the weasel thing too. Like,
Okay. Yeah. Do you want to try? Make a stealth check.
all right. Is this me or the weasel making the stealth check? Either way, it's probably going to be
Stealth from the
terrible.
weasel.
Okay, I'm going to pull up the weasel stats really quickly.
Weasel stealth.
And then Brock.
Okay, yeah, I pull Brock aside.
Do you have a Polly Shore character sheet?
Sure,
where you
brother.
can let him use the weasel.
Hold on a second. Zach's gonna say something. Come.
What's up, Brock?
Need you to do me a favor. Need you to talk to him about Duchess.
Oh shit, what is her name? What is the Duchess' name? Give me a sec. I have the notes.
Duchess Oltan. She's been doing some things back in my home turf, and need to get her disposed. That's why I came. Could you bring that up for me?
I will. Absolutely. This is
Appreciate it,
this is the
brother.
first I'm hearing of it, right?
You've heard of the Oltania Roos,
But
which,
from Vrac, I'm saying
Yes.
to Zach. This is the first I'm hearing of you wanting
Oh,
to
yeah.
touch this person. Okay.
I got
Yeah,
no options.
I-
I'm not allowed to ask the question. You got to do it for me, bro.
I will
Right.
ask for you. What was the name again?
Duchess Oltan.
Tan. And you want
John-
her gone.
yeah, Matt,
That or yeah, like she doesn't need to be gone, but she needs to be out of power. She's
gonna
fucking up that area and doing
burn
shit
my
to
inspiration for the
people.
night.
Oh, okay. All right. So the weasel kind of hops onto Broxcar. They start to approach. You see the other individual you would recognize as Malak Brighton kind of walk over to the doors and kind of push his hand to them. As he does so, the doors kind of slowly open. You see kind of bright light kind of appear in the doorway and kind of glimmer as Broxcar and Lord Kurgosler step to it. you feel kind of this strange pressure against you, and then you feel kind of this weird warmth kind of pass over you. And as it does so, you feel like everything that's on your person that is of a magical nature is suppressed. And as you kind of walk through, you also notice that your cloak, where the weasel was hiding, kind of.
Ah, damn it. It's worth a shot.
You enter through. The whole time that you're entering through, and Malak has kind of got the door open, Matilda's kind of on guard with her hand on her weapon, looking at you all, waiting. You can see into the chamber beyond, which is a grand open court chamber. There appear to be a number of people down at the dais, and then kind of a very high up series of steps, at the top of which is a throne that appears to be carved into the shape of a massive bear.
Matilda was the one that was giving us a hard time, right?
She was, yeah.
So you're sworn to the Great King Rastigar as well. Is that not right, Lady Matilda?
As you're kind of stepping through, she doesn't really respond to you, and the sound of the large stone doors closing behind you, these doors that appear to have been made by dwarves, by the way, kind of shut on you, and she just kind of ignores you.
Cool. I'll continue. If she doesn't say anything, I'll continue to say it's an awful lot of good you're doing sitting here, making sure people got their paperwork in order instead of going to find your great king. You're so.
The door shuts well before your insults
Sick burn.
are finished.
Calling her out.
You do notice that Rassikin has entered with you, and he says, I would suggest acting a bit more kingly in this regard. Matilda is protecting the prince. She has a purpose. He nods and says, follow me, and starts walking towards the center of the chamber. Lord Kirkosler, you kind of got him. Kind of move towards the area there. You notice that a number of other lords are present. 3 to be precise. The 3 individuals that you see before you, you recognize Julian Crosswell. You notice Dougal Brandt, who is a lowly lord but still a vassal of the king, and then Lady Genovese, who you've met once before, and you might recognize.
Lady Genovese. Oops.
Correct. The doors open again behind you. Those of you who are outside, as you're kind of parting away, you notice that familiar lord to you kind of starts moving for the door as well. Lord Archild starts moving towards the door and is allowed entry to within. Corey Archild. So the 6 of you kind of stand there, and the prince is sitting upon the throne. He doesn't appear to have any viziers next to him, no interested parties, nothing. Rassikin kind of steps to the side and moves off a ways, and the prince looks to Rassikin and says, is this all that we're able to arrive for today? At this hour, my lord. My liege. He seems to correct himself after stating that. Fair enough. The boy prince kind of looks to you all and says, you who are sworn to my father, I tell you now that a great treachery has been brought upon this house. Great treachery indeed. According to informants, and also according to a missive that was received this morning, my good king, or my good father, and your good liege lord, has been taken.
Taken by whom?
It would seem that in the night, even within the great defenses created by our dwarf friends from Semeroth, far to the north, our good king was taken in the night by one who wishes to attain power and to usurp his seat and position. Are you familiar with the Otanya Rus? To the west.
I imagine we would be, right?
Yeah, so make a history check if you are curious.
History check. Let's see what I got on history. Ooh, and this is not my best one, but we'll see. I rolled a 17 for the people at home. So
Same for you, Joe.
Joe.
Yeah.
The Otanya Rus is a duchy, one of 4 duchies underneath the kingdom of Rastagar. So again, power structure-wise, king is below the emperor. King is above duchess or dukes or duchesses, and they are above earls, which are also aligned power-wise with margraves. Margraves report directly to the emperor, but are treated as equals to earls beneath duchesses, or duchesses, dukes. That said,
be the duchy with it.
on the left hand. Well, they are off to the left. The Otanya Rus is a faction, now considered a duchy, that existed during the times of the House Marcheshvan, the kingdom that ruled before House Rastagar took its place of power and destroyed that house. House Marcheshvan didn't rule in the same order as the other kingdoms in the empire, so there wasn't a power structure in the same way as there is here. The Otanya Rus basically served in its own right as its own kingdom, or its own nation state. And many feel that even though they have fallen in line over the past 1,000 years, or 500, 600 years that House Rastagar has kind of ruled, they have always kind of played to their more traditional base.
So you think that this Duchess?
I don't think I know. He's currently being held in their castle. According to the missive that was received this morning by my attendants, he is being held as a political prisoner.
And for, I apologize for if I'm speaking out of place, but why haven't you sent the military to retrieve the? Surely the Duchess couldn't, hold off against the might of Rastigar.
Much of our military might came from the mages that resided in the Magier's Tower.
Oh shit.
As a force, we have a number of skyships, and we also have quite a number of soldiers. To muster them all, it will take time. That action has been requested. However, some of the militias that reside underneath are held to each its own banner. So the lords must be called, and they must agree to follow me as their king. Rasikant has not, will not take the position as regent. It was offered to him. He denied it. As the king's most trusted advisor, it was his right to take that position. As many feel I'm not of age to take the kingdom by the reins.
Age is not of importance, boy. Your father's blood runs through you. Surely you are capable of such great deeds as he, the great King Rastigar.
Make another history check.
You got 17 again.
You recall that Amfred was born of a father who was killed by assassin's blades, and was technically deemed the king of all of Rastagar in his basically his elementary school years.
So a different daddy, same mom. What are we talking?
No. So Good King Amfred, the king that is currently missing, his mom. You're muted, Matt.
Right. Sorry. I was saying you're saying that the king became a king at a young age too, right?
Yeah, but because he's a half elf, his blood allows him a certain longevity. He's been alive for quite a while, but he started off really young.
Well, then I'll also put that in the whole little
Okay.
speech I just.
He nods his head. Yes, they call him Good King Amfred, and his legend is well known to me. I understand, but there are certain lessons that need to be learned before one is ready, and I feel I am. Others do not. I have never seen conflict. I have never seen battle.
Well, I have zero doubts in you, my friend. Has this Duchess, has she made any demands? You said he's a political prisoner. What do they want?
We've already acted on one of the demands. We've already acted on one of the demands as it stands. It was demanded of us that the Oltania Rus be allowed to act independently without paying taxes to the crown or to the imperial throne. We have not stopped that as a matter. It's still technically something that they will owe. I do not think they will pay it liberally, but we have not rescinded our right to take those taxes. The Margrave has been called to stand to this, and will presumably be forming a detachment to go to the Oltania Rus to demand those funds in person. You know the Bloody Judge, possibly by reputation, if not personally. He is not one to be trifled with. I think that will be a folly, but his orders come directly from the Emperor, and they do not come from me or my father. My goal, so far, is that I have satisfied the primary demand of not allowing Rassikin to become the regent. And Lord Rassikin has decided that you will abide by their request in that regard as well. The last request we've also abided by, and that was me calling off the marriage. It would seem that the union between us and House Madramic is seen as a political power play that they are not interested in seeing unfold. So we have postponed it. At this moment, it is currently declared as off. So that at least optically, it is seen that we are cooperating.
Bum bum bum.
Do you have anything to say, Gilbert?
Wait, what'd you say?
Do you have anything to say?
Oh, I would say House Kurgosler is at your service. Please let us know if there's anything we can do for you. Your father was always a good king to us and to my house, and we would, do whatever it takes to help you and help him.
I know that my vassal houses do not have much in the way of militias, probably just house guard and protectorates, and I understand that's fine. I also understand that it is still early in my requested time frame, and the lords from outside of the capital will arrive in time. So I do not hold it against you that you do not have the forces that I may require moving forward. I do honor that you came so quickly to discuss the matter with me.
I'll go in there right now and get your daddy back.
So be it. If
Your father, King Rastigar, is the greatest king this realm has ever seen. What he's done for this city, what he's accomplished in this city, is a feat that people only dreamed of in the past. His will is crucial to the future of Rastigar.
the prince kind of nods, but you can kind of tell that he's kind of more worried by the statement than comforted. He looks to Rassican for a moment, and Rassican kind of gives him like a sympathetic kind of look. And then Corey Archild speaks up and he says, "Have you reached out to the conglomerate at all? I understand that their major was deposed and issues came about, but do you wish to have their involvement in this matter?" The prince kind of looks to Lord Archild and says, "I do not think they intend to repopulate the tower or rebuild it anytime soon. It's my understanding that they have yet to reach out to us," looks to Rassican, who nods his head, "in regards to this matter, and no official statements have come forward from them and theirs regarding the calamity that befell our city. So, I do not hope for them." Corey kind of looks to everyone. "What if I told you I could rise up a grouping of mages to assist you in your causes here?" "Renegades?" the prince says. Archild kind of looks to the ground. "Perhaps."
I want to interject that
One at a time.
Lord Archild is an honorable man.
I said one at a time.
He's always been a man of his word. Renegade or not, the conglomerate laws don't matter with what we're dealing with. I would suggest you trust him.
He looks to Groskar, kind of nods his head, looks to Archild. "If you can raise this grouping of mages, if you have means of doing so, then great. So be it. I will trust that you will raise your army in good speed and prepare them for the travel west." Archild nods his head. Lord Crosswell kind of steps forward, kind of shrugs, says, "I do not have much to offer other than I can keep current with the Margrave and make sure any assistance he needs relegated from the coffers of the crown are paid for." Prince nods his head. "Very good." Rastigan says, "Thank you all so much. The prince has some duties that he needs to attend to. Thank you for coming so quickly. Unless you have any other matters that you wish to address, my liege?" He kind of gestures his hand. "Do any of you else have anything else for me to hear?"
Unfortunately, I know you have your hands full the way it is, but it has been brought to my attention that one Duchess Oltran, her rule is a corrupt rule.
That's who we're talking about. That's the Oltanya Rus.
Well, it so happened that I have word that she's been abusing her people. She's
Word from where?
Obviously conspiring against the goddamn crown.
Word from where?
From one of her servants, one of her loyal servants, my friend.
Her loyal servants. Looks to Rassican. "Bring him in." Rassican looks to you.
Good one.
Vrak, you say, the white-haired orc? Half-orc?
That's right.
One moment. Walks towards the door. You guys watch as the stone door opens. Rassican looks to Brock, points. "You, come."
Smiles and walks the fuck in.
Matilda kind of looks confused and doesn't offer any objections. The door closes behind you. The prince has questions for you and walks with you up to the face. The prince, as you approach it, is like kind of speaking loudly and boomingly. almost as if he's speaking like through some sort of magical filter that allows you to hear him throughout. Says, "You are a servant of the Otanya Rus?"
I serve the people there, not the people who preside over those people. That makes sense, sir.
You're one of the Wilders, then?
Aye.
Okay.
That offend you?
Not at all. My father's son. I understand that lowly peasants have graced this throne room, and even gods, in the olden times before the Covenant of the Ascended was forged. So, I see you as somewhere in between those two diametrically opposed positions. I don't care to ferret out precisely where on the scale you'd be. But if you have important information that could be helpful, what do you know about the Otanya Ruse?
My understanding, this lady's been killing our people for years.
Yeah, the understanding is that she's ruled over the Otanya Ruse for centuries. Many believe that she's some sort of dark magic user, or a pact sealer, a renegade, or possibly even worse, an undead.
Out of character, do I have any of this knowledge? Do the villagers have, like, stories that would have been shared?
Most people call her the monster, the devil, Elton, the feral queen is one term, the bloody duchess. Many people believe that she has children taken away from some of the villages, specifically beautiful female children, and they never returned back from the castle. There are other tales of her older soldiers being strung up and basically splintered open, their internal parts shown off to people on the outside to show that weakness is not permitted in her castle or keep. Her castle kind of resides out in a very defensible piece of terrain. Not many people have tried or invested too much effort in trying to take her castle. In the thousands or so years that the castle has existed, it's never been taken. Make a history check.
So, John, basically you're describing Countess Elizabeth Bathory.
Yeah, mixed with Dracula, mixed with Strahd, mixed with vampire
Elizabeth Bathory was known to potentially bathe in the blood of
also, yes,
young beautiful women. So
yeah, most of the horror stories you've heard about a vampire character, I've chucked onto her. Yep, that's accurate. What'd you get on history?
Cool.
Oh, history intelligence?
Yeah, sorry.
I got a 3.
Nice.
Well, you would have advantage for it. What is it?
I got a 6.
Nice.
Oh, you're so good.